basically, why don't you ever tell your story? And I said, man, I didn't think that many people would really care, especially because so many artists tell almost a whole different story about the culture and how, everything got done. I'm one of the very few people who's had every job. I worn every hat behind the scenes, that is, you know what I'm saying? Right. And as you and I talked in the past, I like to tell stories from behind the desk, but I'm kind of shy about it. And I got even more shy about it because a lot of my people weren't speaking up for me. They weren't mentioning my name. So I just said, okay, you know what? Maybe that's just something I used to do. And I see where the culture had adapted and adopted things from me directly, from college radio approaches and to mix shows. And those are the things we weren't taught, but we did. We applied those methods, and we kept booklets of all those methods. And I remember the day I saw the college radio list online for sale. I was like, what? Like people made it corporate, made it very corporate. And so I didn't think there was any room for people like myself. The pioneers take the most arrows, you know what I'm saying? And I said, you know what? Maybe these are just my arrows, Akil, you know what I'm saying? So I humbly, and I don't like to use the word humble, so I gracefully bowed out, you know what I'm saying? And when Medicine Man asked me, I said, you know what? Maybe it is time for me to tell some stories. I hear a few stories that go to the left, they go to the right, and no executives really speak from the TVT Blunt Records angle. We got my man Matty from Loud, Scott Free, other people. Right. But if you're a historian, if you're a historian like the journalist and Uncle E, you have to have you must have asked yourself one day, well, who the hell was that Blunt? Like who could we ever speak to from TVT Records? We're like the guys who we did everything. We probably had a chance. I could tell you Big L stories. I was with Big L the day before he died. My boss told me to go sign Big L. He walked up to me. Steve, he said, Chappy, he said, go get Big L. And I ran out the office, ran and jumped on the train, y'all. And I was with my man, Bill Bracey. And when I got off the train, I saw his mural. I saw the candles, and I just put my head down. And I remember, being proud to go get him because I had told Steve Gottlieb, we got to sign Big L. We were together every day. In fact, I still have his beeper number in my wallet. Wow. And I still have Big L's beeper number in my wallet, man, till this day, man. And I remember all of these stories, and I was part of all of these stories from the Rucker games, bringing the first music artist to perform at the Rucker Classic with my man, Greg Marius, So I held these stories. I held them not because of just being shy to tell them, but I had nobody saying, speaking my name. So it was hard to, I'm from the hood too, so people, you start telling people, Ja Rule, they like, yeah, right. After a while, and I didn't want that to happen. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Historians like these guys, they know all about Jurassic 5 and Akil the MC, but they don't know, how they got to the label, for example, or even to Interscope, they don't know these stories. So because nobody really asked, they more or less would ask the artist. And to me, a lot of programs like this, they would rather speak to the artist to get their views up. They're not looking for the truth. They're not looking for facts. They're not looking for, ironclad information. Okay.
Right.
They're looking to say, yo, I got such and such on there. Yo, come visit my show. And they just talk about, so what did you do when 50 Cent did this? And what did you do? There's nothing about the real industry being talked about because they're not asking the guys like myself and the 5 or 6 or 7 guys and the few ladies, who put their time in through their 20s, their early ages, and really laid it down for the culture. When people call us the architects, we did architect this thing. We built strategies. We laid out platforms. We created marketing plans, and we actually executed them. And I did the hiring at TVT. Big shout out to Cookie Gonzalez, who everybody knows from the 4th and Broadway stories, bringing in Rakim and people like that. Well, when I met Cookie and when I started hiring people at TVT, Blunt, I started hiring executives that I knew that did the same thing I did and had the effect when they drew out their architectural plan to radio, to television. At this time, now we're in videos. Big shout out to Ralph McDaniels for playing the Mood video. And we're now in television, guys, and we're getting some airplay. And sometimes I'm scoring. We did a couple of movies over at TVT. If you Google them, way back. So we would score. We didn't even know that it was going to be this big. We didn't know. So I shout out the people who I know, and I hired the people at TVT, like Cookie Gonzalez. I didn't hire him personally. I brought their awareness to the label. Like, we need this radio guy here. So let me say it exactly how it happened. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I felt like we were just the guys behind y'all, Akil, behind the Ja Rules, and even if you hear Mike Geronimo speak, I love that brother, but he never mentions not one executive's name. And when he does, he only mentions Cookie Gonzalez, who's he can relate to, and people can go, oh yeah, I know Cookie from Rakim, such and such. But I bought Cookie in 2 years later, y'all. How about that? Wow. Okay. Wow. So these stories started to not add up, and big shout out to Mike. And it has nothing to do with, I want the world to know, I speak to, I got love for all of my artists,
Right. Jack, can you tell us a little bit about exactly your connection, like with Akil and that whole movement?
Oh man, what a fun time, y'all. So because I told you guys the story about Cold Crush Brothers and things like that, right?
Right.
Okay. I grew up on the hip. I grew up walking around with my cardboard ready to battle you. If you in the mall, you on the block, and I don't know you, me and my crew, I wasn't the best. Let me get y'all. I wasn't nice. Don't ask me to do nothing at this age. But we were still in it. We was in the culture. It wasn't something that I had to learn. I was born into it. Just, and I'll explain more. But I learned that sound, and I realized as I got older that sound was very few and far between. But when that particular sound was executed, it was the real energy of hip hop. No matter what sprung from it, that was the one that hip hop. That does something to you if you were born in a certain age group. Right. When I got the power to sign people, to sign groups, I mean, I've signed some on the streets of New York, but I heard these guys, and I didn't care where they was from, everybody. Hip hop, I didn't give a damn where they was from when I heard them. They were so precise, so on point. And who am I? I'm a guy who grew up in that, listening to that generation. So when I got to the level where I could judge, wow, these guys nailed it. We need to sign them. That's when I met Akil, and that's when the TVT thing jumped off. And it was all because I heard the future, and I hear the future in artists, y'all. I don't hear them at the present. If I hear your record the first 60 seconds or less, I already know if it's a hit. I already know this, y'all. I'm not bragging. I'm not doing any of that. All the people that I've promoted, touched, marketed, or signed are still relevant today. That's the proof. All these people who have taken my job, the artists who call themselves A&R, I have yet to hear them or see them sign an artist that lasts more than 3 years. They're gone. They're gone. There's a role for everyone to play. And when I saw Akil and I saw how well put together they was, I'm thinking they from Cali. This is the bomb. We were never thinking East Coast, West Coast, y'all. You'll see pictures with me and DJ Pam from the Coup when we was basically 21, 22 years old, hanging out. And I never thought like that. So I thought talent first. Is this good for the culture? I never marketed an artist, promoted an artist, or signed an artist that was just good for me. I often could see their future by the way they put together their music. If it's almost like No Frills lyrics. If I heard lyrics that I knew what was coming next in the flow, and I could say the shit, then that's not the nigga, or that's not it. You know what I'm saying? When they surprised me, when that song flips, it goes to a whole different level, dude. And I said, whoa, New York is hip hop is gonna love this. Excuse me. I never said so. Akil and myself got together and we bring it together, and I bring it to the dude Steve Gottlieb, and he don't know nothing about the culture. And I explain this is what we want. This is a great opening to go alongside with Mike Geronimo. This is going to get the DJ. So this is my plan for signing them. Akil, you don't know this. There was an underlining clause, brother. You know what I'm saying? I have to reveal it on the show that there's an underlining clause. I knew that it would keep my reputation at Gavin Radio, y'all. You know what I'm saying? I knew that song would neither be a hip hop song that people would judge their lyrics. It was just a song, and it had potential to be played anywhere in the world. So that's what I heard when I heard Jurassic 5. And the reason I really signed Jurassic 5 was partial because I knew this is a song that all my DJs would never say no to. I'm going to sign them. But I also realized these guys can do this again and again and again and again. And even if it's Rakim, even if it's KRS-One, even if it is Royal Flush, big shout out to him, no matter what artist was on stage, Snoop Dogg, Master P, there'd be a moment that the world would want to see Jurassic 5 for 15, 20 minutes at any show. I had already thought that out because it was original B-boy. There's something called the B-boy. You feel me?
Right.
The B-boy element is missing in hip hop today. There's no B-boys. Snoop's a B-boy. Jay-Z's a B-boy. Cameron and them, they B-boys, y'all. You know what I'm saying? These is B-boys. These is cats who brought an element to the culture, something new, something that maybe came from their block. That something Beanie Siegel. I love Beanie Siegel. I love 50 Cent. He's the element. 50 Cent is the last living B-boy, y'all. You know what I'm saying? 50 Cent went through it all to get where he is today. He went through the Tupac shooting. He done been through it all. He's been denied. He's had to put out diss records. He's our hip hop Gilligan. He's on the island by himself because a lot of the times our culture placed him on the island because of the way he came in the game. I looked at all B-boys, man. I signed B-boys, man. Dante and them from Mood, them cats are B-boys, man. They loved the culture first, and then whatever came out of their minds, poetry-wise, they were able to put it, on record and on wax. And Wu-Tang, they straight people. Look at Raekwon, cuz. But you telling me Ghostface is not a B-boy, fam?
Right.
My brother died. The Wallabies, fam. The B-boy element, not the pretty boy element.
Right.
It's a difference. Hip hop is missing the B-boy element where when you feel the music, we don't even have multiple dances. When you feel the music, the girls twerk now. That's the only dance that our people do today. And it's because the B-boy element is missing in the lyrics. The B-boy element is missing the storytelling. Slick Rick is a B-boy. That's why we got the ultimate B-boy, the first KRS-One. He'll straight tell you, I'm a B-boy first. I'm a B-boy first. So I found Akil and them, they had the B-boy element, and I went to Steve and we got it done. And I always tell the story, Akil, of how we didn't know what y'all name was, man. We didn't.
Because we created a group. We had a group that was amalgamation of two different groups and stuff. So we just made one particular song, like how y'all was asking me about the good life and stuff, and that's how we met up at, because we seen Charlie Tuna and Mark 7 and Cut Chemistry. We seen them perform. We was like, yo, they dope. You know what I'm saying? Like they on the same level as us as far as performance wise and stuff. And then they end up seeing us perform. And they was like, yo, y'all dope, man. We should do a song. We should do a song. But that didn't come about till like about a year and a half later. And one of my group members had ended up going to jail and stuff. So at this time, it was just me and my other partner, Soup, that's in J5 and stuff. So they was like, yo, Cut Chemist came with this old school beat. And he's like, yo, y'all style is like, you know, that it matched this beat. Cause my group was the ones that had that old school flavor and stuff, you know what I'm saying, as far as the harmonies and, you know, all that and stuff. But then Charlie and Mark 7 had that Run DMC flavor, like back and forth and stuff. So that's what made Jurassic 5 the mesh between those two and stuff. So we did the first half of the song, and then Cut Chemist was like, yo, what you think my group can hop on that and stuff? We was like, yeah, we were supposed to do a song anyway. So, and that became the song and stuff. So, you know, when we performed it, we called it Unified Revolution and stuff, because it was Unity Committee and my group was called the Rebels of Rhythm and stuff. So, you know, it's called the name of the song is called Unified Revolution. So that's all it was. We put out our own 12-inch and stuff, and then that's when one of my group members was working at Loud Records and stuff, and then he knew Chappy and stuff, you know what I'm saying? Because they was doing the whole radio shit and stuff, and the A&R shit that he talking about and stuff, you know. So he shot the record to him and stuff, and he like, yo, this is dope, like, you know. But then, you know, he like, man, I want to sign y'all and stuff. But then, like maybe like about a week before, he called us and stuff, you know, called us back and stuff. So one of my group members was with his girl, and she was like, y'all think y'all sound like the Fantastic Five. It's more like the Jurassic 5 and stuff, right? And so he was like, yo, that shit is funny, but that shit sounds dope, like, you know. So he took it back to us. We had rehearsal one day and stuff, you know what I'm saying? So he tell us that, and we like, yeah. He like, yo, you know, if we become a group, what do you think about this name? You know, and for me, I was like, I'm Rebels of Rhythm. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? But in the back of my mind, like, nigga, this Rebels of Rhythm on mine. Like, man, you're like, yeah, whatever. You know what I'm like, so like about a week later, we like at my DJ's house and stuff, and then we get a call, and it's Chappy and stuff, and he's like, yo, I want to sign y'all, but what's the name of the group, man? You know what I'm saying? Jurassic 5. You know what I'm saying? So that's how it came, because it was only the name on the name of the song on the 12-inch and stuff that we put out and stuff. We was no group. We wasn't a group. We just was done this song and stuff. But that song, once he signed us, that's what made us, you know, Jurassic 5 and stuff.
Yeah. Akil, who did you say was it that was joking with y'all and said y'all sound more like Jurassic?
Oh, it was Charlie Tuna. It was Charlie Tuna's son's mom and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Cause we would do like this bag rapping and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Or like say something that somebody say that sound like something else and stuff. So she's like, y'all think y'all sound like the Fantastic Five? It's more like the Jurassic 5 and stuff.
She was
you know
basically snapping on y'all and didn't know that she was gonna become part of his.
And what's crazy is that the song, I mean, that the name really fit us in what we were actually doing. We were bringing something old back in today's time and stuff, like how the movie was, like how they brought the DNA from the old dinosaur, something that you heard was a myth and stuff, you know what I'm saying? That's the same way for like the old school rap and stuff. At this particular time, nobody wasn't into that and stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like, so we picked that particular style because, you know, at the time and stuff, you had to find your niche and stuff, you know what I'm saying? So like, you know, so we was just like, you know what, we gonna take it back and bring that style, but then today's time and stuff, you know what I'm saying? Because ain't nobody doing that and stuff, you know what I'm saying? And it just so happened to mesh, but the whole Jurassic thing with her saying that, it really made sense
It
of
sure did.
what we were doing and stuff, you know what I'm saying? You know, and so yeah, it just made sense and stuff, you know what I'm saying? I was like, man, this how you know you're not in control and stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like you're moving towards something, and you know, you have the the mindset, this is what you want to do and stuff. But once you start moving towards a goal and stuff, things open up that you don't even come out of nowhere and stuff, you know what I'm saying, that help you on your journey. Like, yo, no, now this is where you need to go, and this is how this came about. Because if it was up to us, man, we'd still be rebels of rhythm and shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it was supposed to happen, and us embracing it and stuff, you know what I'm saying? And then, you know, Chappy giving us that opportunity and stuff, and that, you know, that just says a volume of what it is and stuff. And for him to be on that same page and get it, you know what I'm saying? Like, because we knew that East Coast people would get it and stuff. Like you said, you know, it wasn't about the East Coast West Coast thing, but for us, it was that, you know, because we lived on the West Coast, and that was all about some gangster rap shit and stuff. So we like, but still, even though it was that, you know, somebody like Eazy-E wanted to sign us and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, because they got it too. You know, it's like, if you grew up in that era, you understood it no matter what. You know what I'm saying? Even if you was on some, you know, that was the money bag at that time for gangster rap and stuff, you know what I'm saying? But still, the hip hop in you, if you a real hip hopper and stuff, all the people got it and stuff, you know what I'm saying? That understood it and stuff. It took other people that didn't really know, but then they couldn't deny something because it was like, yo, what is this? Because it was familiar anyway, just because it was in the DNA of what hip hop is.
That b-boy element is in everybody who loves the old school, and who's part of the timeline. If you listen to the timeline and you happen to, you know, be born at the time, or even if you're born in the, you know, in the modern times today, and you into the culture, you know, the b-boy element is what introduced you to, you know, the other elements. You didn't. Snoop is a b-boy. Like I said, he'll tell you that. Yeah, I'm a b-boy first. You know what I'm saying? And if you're not a b-boy, well, and if you don't have the b-boy understanding, or you never had that feeling, it's sad. And it's sad because that's the type of people we sign. That's the type of people we wanted to bring forth into the industry. And I see a lot of people today talk about, you know, the industry is, you know, run by the devil and this, that, and the third, and all types of, you know, topics. Well, I don't know who it's run by, but I'm sure I know the good people got kicked out. You know what I'm saying? The people who were bringing the b-boy element, the people who were bringing the conscious MCs, the people who were bringing the females on, who were rooting for the MC Lights to come back and the Queen Latifahs to continue or to bring forth more. They got us out of there, man. You know what I'm saying? Quick.
Oh no, no doubt. Yeah, I mean, you see, like what you were saying, what you see a Snoop Dogg and you know, even a Rick Ross and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, they just had to pick a lane and stuff. But all them dudes is b-boys and stuff. All them dudes come from that real hip hop. That's why they can rhyme. Even a Drake and stuff, he know how to rhyme. You know what I'm saying? He come from but they you know, but in trying to figure out who you are and what you want to do and stuff, and then, you know, knowing that you don't pick your audience pick you and stuff. You know what I'm saying? No matter what and stuff. You know what I'm saying? You may have a idea of what you want to do and stuff. You know what I'm saying? But then, you know, your audience gonna pick you and stuff, and then, you know, it's those people that like, all right, I'm still gonna gravitate towards this and stuff, but you still hear the elements in there in what they do and stuff, you know what I'm saying? They know how to rhyme. Rick Ross know how to pick dope beats and stuff, you know what I'm saying? It's like certain elements, you know, of a real b-boy hip hop and stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like, he couldn't get famous doing hip hop and stuff. That lane was already crowded and stuff, so he had to, you know, you have to pick what you can do and stuff, you know what I'm saying? So, but you still see that element in all these different things, like what you're saying. Like, for me, like, I always seen it, like, even with Jay-Z and stuff, like, his first singles always be hip-hop shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, everyone, H to the Izzo, you know what I'm saying? You know, whatever it is, it was always the hip hop shit and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what we come from. We know that's gonna seep through whatever is going on. It don't matter what the hell is happening and stuff.
That's
You know
a
what I'm
fact.
saying? That element gonna always be the number one, you know, draw and stuff. So, you know, for me, I was like, you know, I stick with that and stuff, you know, like that's what drives me and stuff. You know?
Go ahead.
I just want to say, since we got Five on real quick, because I know you're having a little technical difficulty. Can you tell us a little bit? Can you tell us a little bit about, you know, any memories or anything you remember as far as Chappy goes?
Oh yeah. Salute, brother.
Come on now. Chap, we was live action at the label at Nervous when we was putting in a lot of work. You know what I'm saying? He was hands on with a lot of things. He showed me a lot of things. He at the label. He blessed me with a lot of information, a lot of intel in how things go behind the scenes, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? Very hands on. You know what I'm saying? Very very intelligent, very you know, you know what I'm saying, very intelligent and had a lot of know-how on how to make things work, you know what I'm saying? And you know, he put me onto a lot of things, how the business for us, how it was putting out the vinyls and connecting with radio and getting with all different types of marketing perspectives, you know what I mean? So
I appreciate that, Five.
come on,
Check.
man.
So what exactly did you have to do as far as choosing the Fab Five song?
Say that
Oh,
again?
oh, you know about that, huh? Y'all some
You know
slick
about
guys. You know about that.
You know about that.
Well, a lot of the reasons I kept that quiet and never really is because at the time, you know, Drew Ha, big shout out to the whole boot camp, you know, but one day I'm down at TVT, man, and they had finished up their album, man, and I thought it was a great idea. I had heard some of the album, but I didn't hear their top three choices, and they had 2 or 3 choices that they were looking at for the single. So they couldn't decide, and in fact, I know they couldn't decide because Drew called me one day. He calls me down at TVT. He goes, "Chat, come up here and choose the single." I said, "Come up and choose the single." No doubt, okay. Because now I'm doing this not because of the music effect. I'm saying, okay, this is my dude. This is my, you know, we grew up together. He helped me get in the game. He's calling me. The trust is deep. That's what I'm looking at. You know what I'm saying? He obviously sees my work. He knows that I'm good at what I do. So he calls me up to the label, man. And I think on this particular day, the owner of Priority was in town. I'm not sure if y'all know who he is. I forget his name. They're all in the office. And I was a little confident back then. So I sarcastically walked in the office. Ching, ching. I remember getting off the elevator, coming through, going straight to Drew's office. I took the vinyls myself, put them on. Let me hear these shits. You know what I'm saying? I'm listening. Heard the first song. I think I heard the second song. Man, by the time I heard Rock, man, with the most, Rock should probably be in television, animation, cartoon, by the way. My man, BZ the Voice, is the voice of Optimus Prime. You know what I'm saying? So by the time I heard Rock, the Optimus Prime of hip hop, you know what I'm saying? Yes, y'all. OG, I said, well, where's this going? So if you listen to the song, imagine not hearing anything else, and this comes out, and I'm listening, and my ego, I'm saying it, and I listen to, and by the time they got the string or somebody, man, I told Drew, this is the single. I got up off the couch, y'all, opened the door, got on the elevator, and left. That's how the single came about, man. Obviously, Drew and them applied what they applied to it. But at that time, they did trust my energy. They trusted the fact that I had moved on. I was at a mini major label, y'all. You know, TVT, we had so much going on. I ended up learning so much about the industry, you know, so many things that people can't even imagine. I was able to deal with publishing, speak directly to lawyers, have producer meetings for albums, things that people weren't doing at other labels, I was doing. at the time, you know, he trusted me to come up to choose one of the singles, and I ended up choosing that song. And I don't know how y'all got that information, because that's true information. And I don't speak on it much because I let people have their shine, but I think that it's my turn. And I think a lot of these stories may not be believed by fans because they don't know me. You know, they may see me in Smith & Wesson video. Big shout out to Tech and Steel for allowing me as a young man pushing their music to be wise enough to allow me to be in the video, because that also helped the people on the West Coast, in the South, and things that only spoke to me over the phone. Now they get a chance to see me. You know what I'm saying? This is how primitive we were. Just, you know, those days they get a chance to see me. Oh, that's you, Chap, in the back of the, and I ain't doing shit in the video, bopping my head, doing something, I don't know, and something corny, because we didn't know we were just making videos at the time. We didn't know, you know, how to make videos like they are today. No one was doing that. So that was my introduction. I did that as a friend to Drew High, you know, for Drew High and them. And I actually respect them a lot for trusting my talent and, you know, seeing my work at TVT. Although they never say it, I can tell you through the lines, that's where that, you know, that came from, that phone call came from.
Wow.
Chappy, how involved were you with Jurassic 5's first album?
Oh, not much at all. Not much at all.
We just did the 12-inch. We just did the 12-inch, and then you know, TVT didn't pick us up for an album. It was just the 12-inch and stuff, you know. So, but that motivated us. Once they didn't want to pick us up, we was like, man, fuck that, fuck them. It was
probably fuck Chap too. Don't let them fool you.
It wasn't hot at Chappy and stuff. It was just because he had already, like, man, they don't want to do it, you know. So we had already solidified that, but it was just like, we was like, man, fuck that. And so we just end up doing an EP, and so that's and that EP got us a deal overseas for that same EP that turned into an album, and then Interscope started looking at us and that. But that was like 97, but 95 is when we was over at TVT and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
What did that 12-inch? What kind of buzz did that 12-inch do for you guys early on?
Oh, that shit got us, man. When we first put it out our own selves and stuff, that got us to travel overseas and stuff. That was the first time we went, and which was end up being in 97 and stuff. But it was because of that 12-inch and stuff, you know, that we put out, and then TVT coming right behind us and picking it up and stuff and pushing it out even further and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Which really spread it and stuff. But that's what got us going. And when we went to England, and we did a hip hop jam that this guy he invited all these people from all over the world. So then they got a chance to see us perform and stuff. And it's like, yo, and then the next year, like I said, we did the EP, and that's what spawned everything. But that 12-inch is what kept us going, because we were trying to get a deal, and we had prior to us putting it out and stuff, we had the song on our demo, and then Charlie and them had it on their demo and stuff. But then we had a deal with what was Relativity. It was Relativity had a demo deal with Relativity and stuff. So they passed on us, and then they passed on them at Chrysalis and stuff. And soon as it came out, then the A&R at Relativity is like, man, what's up with that song? It's like, man, that shit was on the demo, motherfucker. Like, you know what I'm saying? Which made us, which really gave us the confidence, was like, you know what, fuck a label, like, man, you know. But then you still, as an artist, you still want to be signed. So when Chappy came around, it was like, yo, they want to give us a deal. It was like, man, fuck it, let's get a deal. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you know, but at first we was like, man, fuck a record label. Like, man, we can put it out. It gave us confidence to be able to put out our own shit and stuff. And then when they didn't exercise their deal to make the 12-inch, you know, turn into an album and stuff, we was like, man, fuck a record label. And then that made us, you know, do our EP and stuff. And, you know,
y'all ask some more questions, man. I love it.
Damn,
No
One
doubt.
second, somebody. I'm sorry, somebody's at my door. Hold on, one second. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I heard your doorbell.
Talk a little bit about what happens after labels like TVT Blunt. Where does Chappy find himself?
That's very interesting. Well, during those years, because I had made so many connections, I'll tell you a good story. And I ended up going to Shabazz Brothers Urban Wear. If you guys remember when Nietzsche and all the clothing started to jump off, I jumped into that. So Trina Be Real, big shout out to Trina Be Real. She called me and said, yo, do you want to come over here and bring all of that over here? Because I'm dealing with athletes. I'm dealing with Charles Oakley. I'm dealing with Mike Tyson. I said, man, I'm now this is, Mike Tyson. I'm saying to myself, okay, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take the clothing and we're going to give it to the hip hop artists. We're going to give it to the culture. We're going to promote it to the culture and eventually get this urban wear into stores. So I got into urban wear, y'all, with Shabazz Brothers right next door to Madison Square Garden. Big shout out to Shabazz. He's from the 914 also. And basically from there, man, I had a chance to shoot a film. I was a mass communications major in school. And that's one of the things that the industry doesn't speak about is a lot of us people who were in the office were also educated, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we was from the hood, but I represented my HBCU, you know what I'm saying? A lot of my co-workers went to college, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of our first jobs out of college happened to be record labels. So we were bringing not just our street understanding, but we were bringing the understanding of how to market, how to brand businesses, things like that. We weren't just shooting the breeze. So afterwards, I had a chance to use that talent. And strangely enough, y'all, I one day sat in my projects, Winbrook, big shout out to my Winbrook people, 86 Decal, Ferris, all of those places, Lake Street. But I sitting in my projects, y'all. And at this time, I don't know, I'm going through a lot. I'm going through a lot because I'm watching my groups. I'm watching people who I thought were my friends, you know what I'm saying? I'm watching executives that I taught everything to, you know what I'm saying? Say things and accept awards. And I remember still being young about it. I'm raising my son, and my son became the A&R for HER and Jamie Foxx and all of those people. And I remember sitting on the couch when he was young, watching like Ja Rule and them get Grammys and not say my name. You know what I'm saying? Not that I deserved to have my name said, because they earned their Grammy. But when you're telling stories, everyone has an origin. You know what I'm saying? Me and Five talk about this all the time. Everyone has an origin. And before you become independent, you had a team, or you had a teacher, or you had something that built you up so that you could eventually think and become the independent man or woman that you strive to be. And if you happen to be successful at it, I was brought up to just give a shout out, even if it was a shout out, and to bring people's name up in rooms that they weren't. So I started to feel the effects of that, y'all. You know what I'm saying? And every time I called somebody, Shaka Zulu, big shout out to Shaka Zulu. But when Shaka Zulu got fired from the radio station, I happened to have a crib in Atlanta. He called me crying on the phone. You know what I'm saying? And because he didn't want to leave hip hop. And these are people who I loved. And about 2 weeks later, Luda gets Chris Lover, who gets signed. Remember, they was on the radio in Atlanta. Right. I knew them very well because I'm the radio guy. You know what I'm saying? That's one of my jobs. So these is my people. So I started to feel those effects, y'all. I started to, I would call it, now that I'm more mature with it, I probably saw a little bit of depression in the form of anger. I had a little bit of wanting to, speak my mind. And every time I called a record label, when I was at TVT or at Nervous, people would run to get to the phone. When I no longer had a job, no one answered my calls. So Shaka Zulu, people like that, big shout out to y'all. I answered y'all's calls when y'all fell. Never forget that. And I got love for y'all. But when I fell, Uncle E, nobody answered my calls, and it was a trying time because now I'm raising my kid, and now I got to go back in the streets. You know what I'm saying? I got to hustle a little bit, and I know people in my neighborhood probably as they got older, they saw me doing more of that than talking about my industry life. You know what I'm saying? They saw me, and really I wasn't doing it, y'all, because I wanted to do it. I was embarrassed. You know what I'm saying? To keep it real. All right. To have a resume like mine's, I was embarrassed because the people that I had put in position, the people, you know, I shouted out pain in the ass, the people I gave opportunities to, or I pushed or used, you know, my blood, sweat, and tears to put into position so they could have a fan base and they could, you know, have an impact on the culture. They didn't give back. No, not one of them ever said, yo, I got something for you, fam. I know you know this. Come on and speak on this panel. Come on and, you know, be part of the label. When Irv signed DMX, and I'll tell you the DMX story, you know, I introduced Irv to DMX at a Club Scandals, and I gave y'all that flyer. Y'all have that flyer. It says March 1995. That was Cash Money Click's first show a week after they had gotten signed with Irv and them. We had done a show. We had done a show at Club Scandals, which is up in the Bronx, okay? And my boys in them, Big West, Derek D. Life, and Percy Stone, God rest his soul. I shout these brothers out because they're the ones who brought DMX to me that night, okay? Now, mind you, Jay-Z is in the audience, y'all. I know this because at this time, Jay-Z, Irv Gotti, who we know today, was Jay-Z's DJ. So Jay would come up to my office all the time and pay Irv in cash for his work. You know what I'm saying? So Hove would come up. He wasn't Hove at the time, and I learned something about Jay-Z when I was young during those days, and he never gave Irv any, if he owed Irv 10 grand, I don't know the actual number, but I never seen him say, yo, I owe you. He was always a gentleman about his work, his money. What we see today, he's definitely a role model to follow, maybe not in the past, but I got a chance to see him develop into a businessman, y'all. I was there, you know what I'm saying? I was there. So now during this March flyer that you guys have, you have the March flyer. This is Cash Money Click's first show. And if you notice on the flyer, it says CMC, Cash Money Click, featuring Mike Geronimo. Geronimo's not the lead of this show. At this particular time, Chappy has an assignment to launch the next group. Y'all understand what I'm thinking? So Mike Geronimo is the supporting cast, which he had no problem with. So I'm sitting by the steps and it's mad loud, and Jay-Z, we know that's Jay-Z in the corner because he's taller than everybody else. And he had the, you know, had a big head and stuff. And he's in the corner. Yeah, he got long, you know, he's taller. So I knew DMX because I'm from 914, I'm from Westchester. You know, big shout out to my family up in Westchester and Yonkers, MC Brillo, all of them, Connecticut Bully, Pistol Pete, all of those guys, you know what I'm saying? It's all my family directly. And I knew X because in the jail system, in my projects, you know, everybody would come home and tell stories, right? Tell stories about the battles in the county jail, y'all. And as a kid, I wasn't too much of a kid. I may have been a freshman, 13, 14 years old. I remember the stories about DMX, right? And so I had grown up 5, 6 years now past, and I had already known, damn, this dude is a monster. I've heard his tapes. I've heard some of it, you know, heard some of him spit. And then in the club, so they go, Chap, we want to introduce you to DMX. He would like to open up for Cash Money Click. Now, at this time, he does not know Irv Gotti. They're from Queens. They're from Queens. We didn't cross boroughs. If you cross boroughs because of a chick, your homeboy, you know what I'm saying? Things like that. You just.
Uh-oh.
You crossed the borough. You crossed the borough, bro.
talking about Hove too much, man.
Yeah, you crossed that line. You crossed that line, homie. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? You crossed that line. Huh?
No, I was saying
What'd you say?
you froze up for a second, so I don't know if we missed anything.
Okay, yeah. I'm sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
No, you're good. You're good.
So, you know, and when I speak about Hove, I'm a big Hove fan, but not for the reason people think. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a Hove fan like y'all think. I'm a Hove fan because I watched him, his business plan, just like 50 Cent.
Right,
I'm a fan of 50 Cent, but I'm also a fan of how well you ever see 50 Cent articulate himself and speak, and very patient, very slow. I'm a fan of how he went from calculated thoughts. I'm a fan of how some of our brothers and sisters went from music industry mind to music business mind. And they were not only able to apply it, but you can hear it in their tone. You can hear it in their speaking, and they're invited to larger interviews and bigger places because of it sometimes. So now we're in Club Scandals. Big shout out to the South Bronx. We're in Club Scandals, y'all. It's dark. It's late night. It's Cash Money Clicks' first show after they get signed. They're on the card, featuring Mike Geronimo. DMX is in the building. Jay-Z's in the building. You understand later that Time to Build came about, right? So we're going to talk about that, right? None of these guys knew each other. I'm the middleman. I know everybody. They bring him to me. X sits me down. Yo, Chuck, it's good to meet you. You know, so Percy Stone, God rest his soul, he's not here with us now. Big burly brother, one of the people I looked up to in the neighborhood, actually. He says, Chap, let him open up. And he was very influential, brother. So when I'm using these antics, y'all, this is exactly, I don't mean to summon him like that, but let him open up. That's X. And I'm like, damn. Now I'm an executive, so I have to think about my decision. I got my group's here. Mike Geronimo's here. I didn't sign these guys, but I'm the head marketing person at this time. I'm the guy who also put together the show. So I'm like, He sits me down on the steps. There was steps on the side of the stage. If everybody who watches this is going to know Club Scandals in the Bronx, old school club, and it's still probably open. He sits me down. He starts explaining, I would like to open up for these guys. And he starts going through it. And I said, in my mind, I'm saying, you ain't even got to go this far, X. I grew up understanding. I know who you are. You know what I'm saying? I know you battle brothers like my, family friend, Doc D, guys in jail who had real MC rank in the jail system, but maybe couldn't make a good album. Keep that online because you're going to understand why I got called up to Def Jam to explain to Def Jam why DMX could make an album. They called me, okay? Just like Drew Ha, Irv Gotti ends up calling me. So now I introduce him, X jumps on. His energy is what the world found out many years later. You know what I'm saying? He was supreme. He was everything, man. And at that time, I would have loved to have thought the process that, but I said, Irv, this is DMX, this is Irv. Now I'm thinking, because Irv had masterfully put together or composed the Mike Geronimo song. He had masterfully put together Ja Rule and Cash Money Click at the time. To us, Irv was a great composer, producer, was able to see talent. So I hand him off to the person I think that's going to do him correct. You need to meet Irv. Irv, this is X, boom, boom, boom. Guess what? I don't know what happened the rest of that night. The next thing I know, and I'm going to tell y'all a secret. I'm going to tell y'all a hip hop secret. I'm going to reveal a hip hop secret. I got a lot of them, but I only reveal some of them. There's a song. Irv walks in the office a few weeks later and goes, Chap, I want you to listen to X. He puts in the tape, and the lyrics go, if your heart was as big as your mouth, you'd be real, but you're not. So I know if you get knocked, you squeal like a bitch, always been a bitch. So you guys have heard that in his album, right? Maybe lyrically, right? Guess what? Boy, hip hop, this is a lot of fun. Y'all don't take this personal. That was for Biggie Smalls. DMX was going after Biggie Smalls with those lyrics. Years later, y'all heard those lyrics on his album as just a genuine part of his song. When I first heard those lyrics, he was after Big. He was coming for Big, and that was the lyrics that he had.
Oh
That
shit.
was the song. So what did I do? Irv, you can't put that out, Irv. Sorry. You know what I'm saying? Irv, do not put it out. Because I understood what it would have, I understood DMX was a battle rapper, but it wasn't time. It's not see, people have to realize it's always about chess moves. Do you put that out against Biggie, who's getting hot right now, to start? 50 Cent was the only guy who really was successful at that. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't about Biggie. 50 Cent attacked the whole industry if he could. You know what I'm saying? That was his strategy. But to me, I had known DMX's lyrics and things like that and sort of knew him growing up. That wasn't a good start for him. So I told him no, not because of any other reason. I was just like, Irv, don't put that out. Something else got to come from X. I know he's a battle rapper first. Everybody in the world needs to know that. He cares less about all the rap industry. When he got in that industry, y'all, X was the same person. The great thing about it was Irv was able to do like a Quincy Jones with the man. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not, for the people who don't like Irv, y'all, I'm just telling a story, kid. I'm just telling a story. This has nothing to do with the big ups or big downs. Yo, the man did what a few years that a lot of people couldn't do, because I know X had a 12-inch, but there wasn't a producer that I thought that could corner X and give him that sound. Where the hood, where the hood, where the hood. Nah. Irv, being that he wasn't from our area, the 914, came with a different form of composership or composition, whatever you say it. And he comes back and he's got Time to Build. He's got Jay-Z, he's got DMX, he's got Ja Rule and Mike Geronimo on this song called Time to Build. At that particular time, I knew Irv had already put together, laid out a schematic for what he was going to do with X. He gets into beef with Steve Gottlieb. We go into a meeting, and at this time, Steve Gottlieb pulls me aside and says, "You got to be on my side. You got to be on my side against Irv today." I said, "I got to be on your side against Irv today." He's like, "Yeah, you kind of agree with the artist all the time." So I constantly put my job on the line. When people thought I was selling out, I wasn't. I was putting my job on the line because I was the man between this corporate guy who was a multimillionaire, who one day we went out to lunch and he bought Cher's office for $4.3 million in cash for our lunch break together one time. This is a guy I'm interpreting hip hop to, who would send me to Cat's Deli to go get sandwiches every day. You know what I'm saying? And I got to interpret this to him, but I also got to come back with his possible answer on how to proceed, with his definite answer on how to proceed. And then I had to interpret it to a bunch of guys that probably didn't understand the way record labels work. So now I was always in the middle, y'all. You know what I'm saying? And I think that was one of the things, the sacrifices I had to make in order to launch this culture. At least from my platform, I was speaking to record label owners who people big up now, Steve Gottlieb, this and that. But this guy used to think Mike Geronimo should be like Warren G. And he literally told me that. You know what I'm saying? Wow. When these people did not know the history of Warren G. You understand? Warren G's history and Mike Geronimo's history, we're not comparing the talent. We're saying, whoa, one had a real hip hop bloodline. One is a dog. He's a canine bloodline in this game. One is just starting off in the game and happens to be talented with a great song and a producer. You know what I'm saying? So now Time to Build comes, and I have all of these things in my mind, and Irv and myself and Steve Gottlieb go into a meeting, and Irv and Steve don't see eye to eye, because one thing's for sure is Irv always had this plan, y'all. Irv, I know he doesn't explain it well to the fans because he's almost like an artist himself. Sometimes he's looked at like that, but I know the Irv that's the thinking guy. And I used to sit back and kind of watch this guy like, he sits in my office, he absorbs everything. And one day he decided to take this whole package, the Cash Money Click and everything, and he formed this relationship at Def Jam. I thought it was a brilliant, I thought it was one of the smartest moves. Let me just respond to that and say, I wasn't mad at all. If I wasn't such a loyalist, My ass would have left and gone to a bigger label where my reputation was up instead of staying where I was. So I give him props for what he did. He formed it, he packaged it, he formed a relationship, because remember, fans, back then it wasn't about how hot your song is, blah, blah. You had to know somebody to get up in these labels, y'all. You had to know somebody, okay? Someone he knew. Now he's in there with Leo. Now he brings the Murder Inc. situation over there. He wants to bring DMX as his first artist. He calls me on the phone one day. I'm proud of Irv, and I was proud to get the call. Yo, Chap, come up to Def Jam. I need you to explain why DMX can make an album. Now, he understands my history of knowing X, because I know X could battle, but I'm a visionary, y'all. I'm a visionary in the game. So I understand when I hear an artist, I can hear his 5 albums. No, I can't hear the albums that he's going to exactly do. One thing about my body is when I hear certain artists, the hairs on my body will stand up. I know he's or she is the one. When my hairs don't stand up, or I don't feel a light sensation, which many people may feel, I just learned to put it into a business format and go, that's the way I understand music. I don't rap, I don't compose, I don't produce, but when I hear Buck Wild, when I hear Primo, when I hear Large Professor, I know exactly who they're supposed to be with. Now, how do I continue this career? Oh, this is called being an A&R. Okay, so Irv was the first person to really, or the second person outside of Drew Ha, to really call me up and say, hey, man, come speak to Leo. Come speak to, and I never got a chance to speak to Leo about it. I just got a chance to speak to the people in the office, because it seemed like they was on Irv. They loved DMX, but they was ready to dismiss it as just a couple of singles. How can he make a second? Can he make an album? So I went up in there and I broke it down. And I explained that I guess I'm a professional. So I explained it as a professional. And at the time, I wouldn't have called myself a professional, but today I would call all of you guys who've been signed to any record label, independent or major, the difference between y'all is y'all are professional. And I don't think hip hop gives y'all the credit enough for that, as well as the employees. So I'm bringing my professional opinion, even though I'm thinking I'm a fan of X, I gotta go back to being a professional. And I dropped the knowledge on, I know X, but if Irv puts together the way he composes and the way he futuristically sees an artist, he's going to come back with one of these albums where, yes, we're going to get a single full of a ball of energy. That's going to be his single, y'all. Or that may even be his second single, y'all. But by time X drops an album, and remember, I'm not saying I knew what he was going to drop. This was my explanation to labels when they called me up to speak to presidents and things like that, from the grassroots underground cat who didn't have a lot of money, but blew shit up on his own sometimes, blew shit up without the budget sometimes. Yo, people, listen to me. Irv put it all together as he eventually tells the story to where it starts, as he's going to the car to Yonkers to see DMX with the broken jaw, with Leo in the car. He already had this stamp of approval. He already knew he could get this done. He didn't have to ask the culture. He asked Chappy, Chap, can I get this done? There was no emails. Yo, what y'all think? There was no facts. I mean, I'm sorry, no Twitter, no anything. Yo, y'all all give me your opinion on X. He called me up, and I broke it down in layman's terms, the way I was supposed to, the way I did everything. Yes, I can speak in street terms, but when it comes to explaining where Akil MC's career is going to go, or Five from Black Moon's career is going to go, Five has heard me speak many times. I come with a different mentality. I come with a whole different train of thought. You know what I'm saying? It aligns with your street thinking. It aligns with your love for what you want to put back into the streets, meaning your poetry, even your production. But what I was able to do, and I'm still able to do, is I'm able to hear you and go, yo, you need to be over here. You need to be in Florida with this. You need to be in Miami, and this is what you need to do. We need to be up here at Loud. You know, we need to introduce you to Matty C. We need to introduce. So when I got those calls from those guys, they were in larger positions than me, but they reached out to me because they knew when it came to this hip hop, I would tell Irvin Ja one thing that they still laugh at probably today. Yo, keep it hip hop. That was my thing to them. Yo, keep it hip, no matter what. Keep it hip hop. I should have made a shirt that says that. Keep it hip hop. Yo, keep it hip hop. Because they would laugh at me. And one day Ja Rule called me. He said, man, we was just talking about you, Chap. And I know there were times where I would run through their minds, you know what I'm saying? Because I had played such an impact on those guys with them learning, showing them hands-on, even opening up Ja Rule's first bank account when he got his first check with TBT. Yo, man, let me show you what to do with that. I took him to Chase Bank on Broadway. You know what I'm saying? So there were many times he would call me every once in a while. And I spoke to Ja the day before he went to jail. He did his jail bid as well. He would call me and he would say, man, you know, he wouldn't say thank you. He would tell me where he is in life, you know. I was grateful that he answered the phone even, man, because there was a certain level that I understand the human characteristic, you know. Sometimes the id and the ego is one of the greatest things, and sometimes it can thwart our natural being, you know what I'm saying? And I've watched that happen with some of the fellas that did rise up that may look down at me or may have looked down at me like, oh, Chap used to, yeah, I did that. But one thing about Rule is every chance he got, he would tell somebody, yo, that's my liaison right there. That's the guy. That's my liaison. And maybe because I was a little bit angry and stuff, I didn't know how to market that. I didn't know how to approach that because by then I'm still raising my son. I'm doing these things. And those platforms where those words were speaking were never in a place unto which I could cash in or I could utilize that point. So even after doing that for Irv up at Def Jam, I mean, I had the key to, I could walk up and I remember 30 people in the lobby, volley, yo, Def Jam. And she would just look over and be like, yo, Chappy, go inside. And I would just walk around Def Jam, y'all. And I would see MC Search, big shout to Search. Search knows me very well.
I want you to be able to talk about what you got going on now too. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Talk about your, you know, the land and farms, all of that.
I would love to, dude. Uncle E, I appreciate that.
Yeah, but just to make it quick, so far, you know, I'm getting between questions that we had and others that we didn't get to. You know, there's the Tretch situation, there's Sean P stories, CL Smooth stories.
Yes,
so I don't know if we'll do another part eventually, or
man,
maybe you gotta put together a little podcast and do something.
Maybe I need to jump on YouTube and just yeah, you're right. Maybe I just need to create a YouTube and continue these stories.
Do something, yeah.
You know what I'm
saying? Do like a weekly,
definitely.
We're chopping it up with Chappy.
We also want to hear what Akil's got going on as well as Five. But Chappy, if you could tell us what you have going on in 2023 right now.
I appreciate it, man. And what and as I always done, I've sort of been an educator as well as a motivator, but I'm a go-getter. A lot of times I roll solo, and I decided to get into to land selling, man. And what I did is I studied real estate. I had moved to Houston for a few years. And I got into studying real estate, man, and I decided, to start selling land, buying small properties, residential lots, farmland, things like that. And I got into the race, but then I said, wait a minute, there's nobody selling land that's niche marketing their land business. There's nobody speaking to people about what to look for when they're looking for land. Everybody speaks to people about, yo, this is how you sell land. This is what you want to do. I don't speak to people. So I decided to create Winbrook Land and Farms. And Winbrook Land and Farms, you can see on my t-shirt, is my community. That's the projects I come from, man. Up at 914, that's my project. It's called Winbrook Housing Projects, And I created Winbrook Land and Farms. Another hip hop move, y'all. You're going to see a lot of the moves I do is so fucking hip hop, so to the culture. So I decided to not only sell land, I decided to add t-shirts. You know what I'm saying? I decided to add slogans, but I also decided to start teaching, I got a small podcast called All Things Land and Resources, which every once in a while I'll bring other land people on, and we talk about the things you should look for when you're looking for land, how you don't need credit to purchase land. I then decided, okay, selling land is cool. How do I make this bigger? I'm going to go back and reach out to my hip hop people. And my homegirl, Kim Swain, an R&B artist from TBT, says, yo, you went from hip hop to land stock. I said, yo. I said, wait a minute. I never thought I'm the creative bitch. Excuse my language. You know what I'm saying? You know, but I don't mind. And Kim, you know, we talk all the time, so she's going to have a ball with that part of the, you know, because I don't mean it like that. I just mean it in the, you know, I just mean it in a funny way. And I said, from hip hop to land stock. So for about 5 months, I wouldn't use it. I was like, man, nobody want to hear from me. As I explained earlier, you know, I don't know if they want to hear from the pioneer, you know, from behind the desk. They want to hear from the pioneers that's rocking the mic. So I decided to go, let me start utilizing it. Let me start talking to the Akils. Akil reaches out for me like, yo, my parents is looking for land. You know, I'm like, oh, snap. Sway reaches out to me. Sway goes, yo, my daughter's birthday. I'm looking for 9 acres with a lake. I'm like, oh, Irv Gotti would even inbox me. Not recently, but yo, Chappy, I love you, man. I love what you're doing, man. And inside of those things, you know what I heard, Uncle E? You know what I heard, Sincere? I heard them saying, nigga, we didn't even big you up and you still flying? You still rowing your boat? You still pushing? You still dedicated to our culture? You still gonna talk about hip hop? You still gonna teach our people and educate? So I decided to add those elements to my land business, y'all. So not only do I sell land, when you buy land with us, we help you with finding out what the city ordinances are, what your zoning laws are. Is electricity, septic, is sewage on the land? If you can't find those things, we help provide that information for you. So we just don't leave you, you know, dead dry with your farm. We help you with all things land and resources. And I decided to connect with about 3 tiny home businesses because I started to realize that, wait, people who buy tiny homes can't put them nowhere unless you have land in a designated area that allows tiny homes. So I reached out to tiny home companies. And once again, a grassroots strategy, y'all, that I simply used, you know, to build my Winbrook Land and Farms business. And I wish that all the guys that I helped create their fan base before Twitter, before social media, before Instagram, because those are not your real fans. Those are called followers. Those are people, your real fans are the fans that we built together. You understand? That came on your Twitter page, on your Instagram page to raise up your numbers. I often wished, and I still wish that some of y'all, yo, shout me out, put my land thing up, because some of your fans need to buy land. You know what I'm saying? Even some of y'all need to buy land. Right now, I got a new platform to help people fix their credit. You can send out to one credit report once a month for free to dispute your credit, to help people who want to do better, y'all. I came to hip hop to advance our culture, not for it to go backwards and for chicks to be twerking and removing their nipples and their shirts to show their titties and things. I didn't do that. And that's what they want to do. To me, it should have been categorized. I would have categorized hip hop like hardcore, you know, soft, you know, melody, you know, somebody who's the best poet, not the best this, that, and the third. So I created this with that same element in mind. Like, I'm going to keep going. You'll see me at tiny home conventions. You'll see me marketing and branding myself, you know, doing what I did for artists, finally doing it for myself. And that's Winbrook Land and Farms, y'all. I'm just a guy who, I'm proud of what I did for all of the guys and the ladies. But M. Doc and Silk Curly, big shout to M. Doc and Silk. People don't know I signed M. Doc and Silk too, the Hall of Fame producer, Silk Curly. I signed him to TVT. I look at it like this, man. I started to do it myself, and that's how me and Medicine got together. And that's the first things I said to him. I said, man, I wish the guys that I brought their fan base, and maybe they have 100,000 sales, 200. I wish they would recognize what I'm doing for myself and promote me, because I'm not only promoting to make myself and my family money. I preach the longevity of owning land. I preach the elements of what land ownership can bring. And maybe one day, you know what I'm saying, this shit'll go get big, you know, and people will realize what I'm out there doing, you know. I won standing for Houston for going into the military black cemeteries, revitalizing black cemeteries, you know, for the historical cemeteries and the Negro soldiers. I've done many I've done food drives over the last 4 or 5 years in the 5th ward, in the 3rd ward of Houston, 1,000 people every Thursday. So I'm constantly giving. This time it's in my business form of Winbrook Landed Farms. And I just hope that, one day that this takes off the same way that some of the people I was able to touch in hip hop take off. And that's what I'm about, y'all. And that's why I'm so sincere when I say thank you to you and Uncle E, man, because I got a lot of people, a lot of family, a lot of friends that watched my journey, and they're a little upset with the Drew Haas and the people like that. I grew up with Drew. I know Drew since kindergarten, whatever, they're a little upset that, how you leave Chat behind? You know what I'm saying? How you, and it's not, it's no beef. It's not like that. But these are the questions that come up. So one day, if we all could mature and grow up and go, you know what? Just as I do for them, and I did for them when they didn't have a name, some of these artists, I'm proud to mention their name today. And Winbrook Landed Farms, the name Winbrook stands for integrity, y'all. It's just not my projects where we had 70, 80, 100 sealed indictments, shootings, the people leaping off buildings, all the crazy stuff that every community or urban community has. The name happens to mean something very positive. It just got stamped with the negative. So I wear this name not just to represent Winbrook, the location, the place, but also by the second definition of integrity, standing up, being on time. The fact that I want to give y'all all this information may seem like blab to some ears, but I like to give education. I'm very experienced. Like I said, my son, big shout out to my son, man, and his mom. His mom is this real super duper deal, and I won't even speak on who she is, but she is one of the top 3 powerful Black women in music and entertainment in America, y'all. And we met many years ago, and she's super successful, super intelligent, has put many people in position, and the collaboration of probably both of our DNAs, my son, he has that natural talent. He deals more with the R&B side. He plays instruments, but he became HER's A&R for many years, and through the Lights On Festival, the Lights Out Festival, whatever those things, he started to do very big things as well. And only people say, what do you say to your son? And I say, yo, Chat, what do you say to your son? I get people who call me and be like, can my family go backstage? And what do you talk to your son about? I said, I don't talk to him about nothing. I talk to him about, do you have your publishing in order? Do you have your paperwork together? I never talk to him about what he should be doing or judging his decisions. I only talk to him about being prepared for his future, something that I didn't have a template for. So that's Winbrook Landed Farms. That's the long explanation. They're going to chop this shit down, y'all, because I gave them the wrong version. You know what I'm saying? So stay tuned. Akil the MC, I love you, brother. I love you. I love you, Akil, because I'm able. You the only artist. You so thankful about my small thing, to me, which was a small thing, because I had the keys to New York City's hip hop, man. I thank you for always answering my calls, brother. I thank you for always returning my texts when others didn't, man. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And it's okay that others didn't, but I'm righteous, man. So thank you. Go ahead and tell them about what you're doing, brother.
Thank you, man. Thank you, man. Man, I'm just still being an artist, creating. I've been doing production forever and stuff, I didn't do a lot of production for J5 and stuff, but had always been doing production and stuff. So right now, I got a EP, a J5 EP that I'm putting together of some stuff that never came out, that should have came out, but everything happened for a reason and stuff. So right now I'm preparing that right there, and just living life, just being creative, still making music, and doing what we do, as a hip hopper since I've been 13 years old and stuff. So I got children, my sons, they do music and stuff, so I help A&R their stuff and give them little direction, where they should be going with it or whatnot and stuff, you know, add inspiration to them and got friends.
Do they have music out?
Yeah, I got a son. One of my sons, my middle son, he had kind of got out there and stuff, but then he ended up, you know, having children and stuff, so he kind of fell back and stuff, you know what I'm saying? But he had made it was I think it was what's that? It's a rock and roll magazine. I forget the name of this magazine, but it was like the top 50 mixtapes of the year. And he was like number 20 and stuff. He had made it was around when Kendrick first had came out and stuff. So he had been around for a little while and stuff. But then, like I said, he kind of fell back and stuff. You know what I'm saying? But now he getting back out there doing stuff. You know, so he kind of done a lot of little production for some people, for Vince Staples and you know some other people or whatnot and stuff. So yeah,
Nice.
Yeah.
Where can everybody keep up with you on social media?
Akil the MC on Instagram. Akil the MC on Facebook. Akil the MC on YouTube. You know, so yeah, Akil the MC everywhere. And then if you see, I'll be the one that's manning the Jurassic 5 page on Facebook too and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Nice.